Yes, you can, Mark. Shut the fuck up.
No,
Yo,
listen,
what is he talking? Yes, we can.
You said all that shit. And what I'm saying is he could be doing the same light-skinned rich that you just did.
Mark.
That's the fuck I'm saying. No, you shut the fuck up and listen for a second.
They say that boy Klay Thompson was out there cheating in the streets. I keep telling y'all stop messing with them high yellow boys. Y'all don't want to come mess with a chubby dude with an unsuccessful YouTube channel. And now look at Megan out here, okay? Meg and Klay broke up. She said he was cheating in the streets. Let's see what the Joe Budden podcast has to say about this and what exactly is considered a relationship in 2026. Let's get it.
But then she made a formal statement to the media, specifically TMZ.
Thank God. Clear it up, Meg.
Because, there was a lot of speculation.
Yeah, true. We didn't know. We didn't know what was happening, yeah.
So she went to TMZ and cleared it all up. She said, I've made the decision to end my relationship with Klay. Trust, fidelity, and respect are non-negotiable for me in a relationship. And when those values are compromised, there's no real path forward. I'm taking this time to prioritize myself and move ahead with peace and clarity.
Okay.
And then there's just one more little piece of information y'all want to know. She was on Broadway doing Moulin Rouge.
Oh, okay.
First gendered woman person to play this character, history making. She left early. Saturday, she got a standing ovation on Broadway, and it's announced that she's leaving her stint on Broadway early.
Friday's the last day.
Yeah, it's assumed that Friday, May 1st is the last day because of all the drama. So it's a lot going on.
I didn't know she was doing that.
Yeah.
I can't believe she would throw that away because of a little heartbreak.
And I heard she's killing. It's
hard to focus. Big heartbreak marks.
Because they're playing house.
Well, let me say, as y'all are queuing up your remarks, I was sad for the girl. I'm a Meg fan, and I always support her. And I remember a couple months ago when I was like, "Yo, they doing a lot fast," and some of y'all was getting on me. And then all the Meg Thee Stallion fans was attacking me, and I'm a Meg Thee Stallion fan, but they were attacking me. Why are you hating on the relationship? All I said was it's moving kind of fast. Maybe you don't name a boat after somebody. Maybe y'all don't do everything, all the videos, all that shit. Because I'm, not because I don't want y'all to win, but because most celebrity relationships just don't last.
That's true.
So they like, yo, why would you bring her around his family? Like he named the boat after her. Yo, dog, it might have been going good. He might have gotten some intel. He might have gotten some information that's pushed him the other way, made him pivot. It's a lot of things that go on in relationships. It don't necessarily got to be, yo, this dude had these bad intentions when he met this girl.
I'm sorry, Ish, I don't think it's information. I think that once you start, if you're dealing with somebody, you start staying together and spending
you start
more time
seeing
together,
more of them.
You realize that I don't want to marry this person.
Dog, they had a whole bunch of pictures.
Or maybe he does and he just fucked up somewhere.
Yeah, you think it's liable, more likely that he got information on her than just spend. She said you got cold feet.
Could be a combination of both.
He could have just got caught cheating. And when she confronted him about it, he hit her with the, yo, I don't know if I could be monogamous.
Yeah, it could be
very simple.
Okay. Yeah.
Whereas, yo, I am 100
I'm a handsome, filthy rich man.
And we've only been dating for a year or something. Maybe not even.
I might not want to settle down right now. I might not be on that.
So many people look up to Meg, right? And what I've seen from Meg now is a pattern of not knowing how to read men, respond to men, communicate to men, or understand men. That's before Klay.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to bring this full circle for just one brief moment. That's why the male best friend is not a threat or worry to me, because sometimes they can give some insight to your girl about how men think.
My girl's man that we were talking about since we back there is some NBA player nigga that I had on fantasy one time. And no, you can't keep talking to his best friend for
No. I'm not talking about the friend's best friend. I'm talking about...
No, I'm back now. Fuck they talking about this shit. Happy birthday, Craig. Nigga, fuck Craig. and the Bulls.
No!
Craig Hilo?
Craig Hodges. No, for real. So now here we are again. Men in man world. Yeah, I'm gonna just mute up.
I'm chilling, bro.
Just mute up.
Bro,
I'm
you don't even have to tell me to mute up.
In man world, I'm gonna try my best. In man world, going public too soon. That's okay. We're checking that. You in bliss. You confetti. You partying. You, oh my God, I need the world to know. But in the man, we're gonna check that. Like Ish said, you're gonna meet my family. You don't have family. You kind of, a lot of women, the dude's life now becomes their identity. A lot of women do that. So yes, when that happens, you're gonna meet some cousins. You're gonna meet my parents. If you can cook, you may even cook for them. They're gonna clear the plate. It's gonna look like they enjoyed it. Again, in man world, that ain't saying nothing. To the woman, it's saying a whole lot. The whole, we're gonna put our hands together and do a heart, and I'm gonna put your name on the boat. For me, I'm only speaking to me, Mark.
That don't mean nothing.
Would have said, I'm not serious about none of this that we doing. The boat thing would have been the giveaway. Some dudes love bomb, great. One. Some dudes, situationship game is the meanest. Some dudes are gonna make you feel like the queen of the castle, but it's a short stay. And women think that all cheaters belong in the same box. I don't.
Got no kind of cheating.
So when she comes out public and says he cheated, women will interpret that a certain way. I said, oh, that's a reasonable expectation. That's what I said.
What's the reasonable expectation? The cheating?
That he would cheat, or he would want more, or he would desire more. His past says
His
that.
track record.
His track record says it. The girls before said it. He scored 60 in 11 dribbles. Says it.
He scored 40 points in one quarter.
He has 4 championships. It says it.
He's tall.
He's half of a Splash brother.
Legend.
That says it. He plays. He also plays. We know you do. That's why I said men are talking now.
My issue is the way. Again, people are right to do how they want to deal with heartbreak. It's just the way she's managing it. I wouldn't say go to social media right away because it affects your career. It's affecting your life. It also puts a spotlight. I mean, it just does a lot of things that I don't think you want to do. And I think now in this era of social
Or
media.
you want to do
I'm about to say, or you want.
Or it's a
Because now I'm
and
looked at.
you want to do it because I'm back into
My
the
victim back.
Victim back, yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
And I'm not saying that because I don't know.
Me either.
She could have been really head over heels.
I think she was.
I think she was.
I think she was.
And even if she's not trying to go
I
into
don't
a victim
think
bag,
that.
it's a good story for whatever she may have coming, potentially.
I think
She knows the game, yo.
See,
Like,
I think it's
come on,
far
man.
simpler than that.
No.
I think you did something to piss me off. I'm going to embarrass you about it. I'm going to put you on Front Street for the shit you did. Because one of the things, being the good, nice, handsome, tall, light-skinned guy, is you have a reputation. And I'm going to fuck
She
up
didn't
the reputation.
embarrass him, though.
This is the social media version of Key in Your Car.
When you meet a man that's handsome, worth $100 million, and that is popular, he got girls. Cool. Along the lines of getting to like you, he still got girls. When he starts to really like you, he then starts to taper off with those girls and start pushing them to the side.
Yeah.
Because he's spending more time with you. He's starting to like you. All of these other things. My nigga, nigga don't clearing out their cupboard in 6 months. And anybody that thinks thinks something else is naive. Nobody even said they committed. We assuming they committed because she was posting pictures of him.
I mean, he kind of said, he suggested as much as well.
He did.
Yeah,
He kind of
When
leaned
went
into
along. What
it,
was the suggestion?
that they was together because we see pictures of them.
Where did he suggest?
When he's publicly at events, when he's at the dinners, when
Mark,
what
you
are you saying no
Mark,
to?
you being naive again.
I'm not
you
being
naive again.
That's a good point.
Celebrities. We talking about celebrities.
Let me just tell you let me just say it before you tell me I'm naive about it. Let me just finish the thought. What I'm saying is, in public, he has claimed her as his woman. I think that, could they behind the scenes have a...
Has he said publicly, this is my woman?
Yes. Now
Okay, because I haven't heard
That's
that.
what I'm trying to say. So now, what they have behind the scenes, he could have said, this is my woman, and still behind the scenes, they could be polyamorous. I don't know their situation, but I don't think it's... but they certainly were in a relationship, and he's very specifically said that.
I just think you should have more info than most when it comes to celebrities and the games that celebrities play, especially when it comes to relationships. So who cares that he said something publicly? They was playing the PR game. They was being seen at events. They was being seen. They was doing the thing.
The premise of this part of the conversation is
I as an outsider looked at that and said and doubled down in my he's not serious.
Yeah, I don't
he's
know
not serious.
And I don't know if he publicly ever said it. They're saying that they made their relationship public in July of 2025, with Thompson confirming it by posting a photo of them together and attending her foundation gala.
See, and that's my point.
But do you remember the interview he gave at the foundation gala?
I don't.
So that's what I'm saying.
I could be.
And he talked about how proud he was to be with this woman, and he didn't mean in this room at this moment. He was very clearly
With her.
Yeah, it would be a stretch to say that he wasn't
And
claiming
if he
her.
did that in July of 2025.
Yeah.
See, this is where we got to stop being politically correct.
But in July, when we started talking about them dating and being an item, the first thing everybody said was they were dating for a while before they went public. That they had a private relationship, and now they've decided to go public. By the time I go public with somebody,
Well, see, and that's why you can't say that it's crass that people online are bringing up the timeline of her relationships, because that's what refutes that.
Good point.
unless they both were seeing other people and then they finally locked it down together in July, which I think is reasonable for young people to do.
It shows a pattern.
I think because he's not in the media as much as some of the other niggas that she dated, she thought she found herself a nerd.
Yeah.
Cool, until he proves to you that I'm not a nerd. And now you go online publicly and you castrate this nigga. Cool. Now we gonna go to the pattern, because I was being quiet. And then you get a nigga like Partisan Fontaine that supposedly, from everybody that I know, calls him a great man and a great guy. And you made him look like shit in the public. So some of them niggas that's dissing her online, saying what's good for the goose is good for the gander, they kind of got a point. Partisan Fontaine stood by you during your trial.
He did.
When you lied to this nigga and told him you didn't fuck Tory Lanez.
I don't think it's idealistic to say, yo, your partner shouldn't cheat on you. It's idealistic to say
that's not your partner. Mark, that's not your partner. That's not your partner.
Your girlfriend, your whatever you want to
That's not your man. That's
Says
not
who?
none
What are
of
you
those.
basing that on?
That's not none of those things.
If that's not a man,
And that's why my advice to Meg is just to take care of yourself, love on yourself. Get with a circle of people that honestly. Yeah, I feel bad for
even with
the advice is like for her. But what does that mean that they live together when the two people are as wealthy as they both are?
Did she sell her house or get rid of her apartment?
Yeah, what is he
move in with
talking
him?
about?
This is what I don't know the answer. But here's what I do know.
Look,
here's what I do know, Joe. Joe,
it's not what you paying it.
It's playing. No,
It's playing. Yes, it's playing out.
That's literally what she wrote in the quote. Playing house. That's my point.
Mark,
that makes a nigga think that they together.
Mark, I'm saying there are men out there that play house. Broke men, ugly men with a lot less.
No jumper.
Play house.
No jumper.
Yes.
Jumper not wet.
Yes. Those men play
Second
house.
purest form to Ray Allen.
So I think that I'm not gonna say it like he said that she found a nigga that she thought was a nerd. She found somebody that she thought was different than all of the people
That's what she said.
Comes from a family.
She said he's the first nice guy I've dated. He's the first guy I've ever dated who was nice to me.
Some of these niggas in this room are assassins. So when you go to the golf outing with her girlfriends, guess what you gonna do? When we go to Top Golf, when we go bowling, guess what I'm gonna do?
Lovable.
I'm gonna be the nigga that's trying to win over her girlfriends because I've been here before.
Right, but that's what
The two things are not equal.
I'm not saying they are. What I'm saying is, well, two things. One, we can't assume he wasn't smitten.
True.
Yes, the fuck you can, Mark. Shut the fuck up.
No,
what is he talking? Yes, we can assume that.
You said it 3 months ago we were talking about Megan. I said this shit is moving too fast because nobody falls in love that quick. And you were the first nigga to say, I fall in love that quick. I move him in 24 hours. I fall in love fast. I'm a love bummer. You said all that shit. And what I'm saying is he could be doing the same light-skinned rich shit that you just did. That's the fuck I'm saying. No, you shut the fuck up and listen for a second. What I'm saying is he might have did the same shit that your dumb ass used to do. That's what the fuck I'm saying.
Clip these bum ass niggas up.
You get the fuck up. Now all of a sudden you don't know what love bombing is. Now all of a sudden you don't know what it's like to be smitten in 24 hours, leaving with the club, and she stayed the fuck in my house for 3 weeks. That's what the fuck you said. That's what I'm saying is happening here. That might have happened. Yes, he might have fallen out of love fast. I'm with you. But what I'm saying is you got a responsibility to say something about that and do something about it. Yes, there are assassins in here. But when you're 37 years old and you're an assassin, at some point you got to take some accountability for that shit. At some point you got to say, yes, I know when I love bomb, I'm like, no, listen. Sometimes when I love bomb, I'm like, look, I used to do that shit. I used to show up. I used to be present. I used to do all the shit, all the nice guy shit. all the boyfriend shit. I'm old as shit, I'm tired.
I'm in CNN.
All the in love, all that shit.
They don't know you're a secret.
But I never
squirrel.
told them that I was they dude. I never said right. But I made it seem that way.
The act.
I was present in that way.
And you knew she thought you was.
And
you
she,
let
and I
her
knew
go,
what
let her
she
go
thought.
with it.
At some point, you know, at 30, I'm tired of shit. At 37 years old,
Yo, breathe, bro,
You
breathe.
see what it's like to be the man. You know what I mean? I know you tried to get your little moment. You see what it's like. It takes conditioning.
Yeah, it does. Your lungs.
but at our big age, we know that if we have money and we show love and presence, we fuck them, we stay in the same house for months at a time, we know what they're going to expect.
Yes.
And at some point, we can't act like we don't. Now, she should know that too. That's the naive part. But that don't let us off the hook.
That's part of the game.
It don't gotta
That's his
be.
recipe at
But
that
that's
point,
what
my
it
nigga.
is.
But it don't gotta be.
I got this shit patented now, my nigga.
I don't know.
It's the game.
That's my move.
It's the game.
I know it's everybody
It's
move.
called a 52 fake out.
Yeah, but
That ain't my
52
move.
fake
That's
out,
not my
nigga.
move. But
That's your move too, nigga.
No, it's not. I never had 100 mil.
And close it for me. Here's the problem. I feel like we do a disservice to the people coming up when we try to not hold people accountable. And the accountable part is not only Klay, is Megan as well. Patterns are important. And when you're in a situation like that, sometimes people should know what love bombing is. Love bombing is a real thing. You guys like to promote these new words and these new theories and shit like that. That's a real thing. And niggas do it. You know, Mark, that niggas do it.
I
You
love
probably-
bombed.
Nigga, you vocally bomb. Nigga, you intellectually bomb. Nigga, you know what you do. Hey, that looks nice today, Dr. K. You know what you do, my nigga. You know the game. So what I'm saying is that I get what, that's why I'm asking, do you really mean this from your heart as a man? Do you, or you just saying, yo, I'm older now, so I look at things different? Because you out of all people should know the game. You know it. You know when a nigga pretending. It was all pretend. Cool. Nigga wasn't serious. Nigga, we doing this for the camera. You outside with me. You Meg. But he has a phone.
He also
and
could've
access
been
to the-
serious and
He
just
has a
fuck
phone and
something, bro.
access. Hold on, wait.
that's what I think happened.
Yo,
Listen,
cool, and
he
then-
has a phone and access to the internet like we all do. He saw all the things like we all do.
I hate
nigga.
love. I hate the word love.
And
I hate
niggas
the
put that
phrase.
in their mind. When we go into a situation fucking with a girl that fucked with a lot of niggas, not saying this is a situation, we have something in our mind as men.
Okay, Mark had on his cape in this episode. He was defending Meg relentlessly. At one point, Flip asked him, just because you were rooting for Meg during the Tory situation, does that give you this sense of you can never criticize her in certain situations like this? If we gonna have this conversation and it's all bullshit, we talking about two celebrities and their relationship that we know nothing about, and we're just going off of social media and what we saw and what we perceived. But if you gonna have that conversation, you should at least be able to have a conversation about both sides. It looked like Mark wasn't willing to accept any idea that might put Megan Thee Stallion in a certain type of light, right? Which is the whole conversation about doing all of this over social media. And you can say, look, Klay, he was in the videos and stuff with Meg, right? He could have said, hey, don't put this out here. I don't want to be in your video, da 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 da. But I think some people can look at the initial report or her Instagram post saying, hey, you cheated on me and you introduced me to the family and yada, yada, yada. You can have an opinion about that. When I first saw it, it did look like she was trying to get attention. It did look like the typical artist playbook of, I got a heartbreak, now I'm gonna go in the studio and try to make good music. That's how it did feel. Listening to this podcast, I will say, well, if Klay was constantly cheating on her, maybe I can see her going to Instagram and trying to embarrass him. Klay does have that good guy image. Maybe she wanted to chip away at that. Were they in a real relationship? For rich people like them, living together might not mean the same thing as it would mean for regular people. Because they got properties all over the country, if not all over the planet. Was she selling her property? Was he selling his house to live in one house? We don't know that. But we do know that living together is different for people who got all type of houses and all type of money. Now, she don't got his money, and you might even be willing to believe that because Klay Thompson got $100 million plus and he made all this money from playing basketball that she would be willing to play her role. I think that's where one thing, look, Mark was caping, but he did say something that I could see some females having an issue with when he said, if Klay cheated once, he doesn't think that Meg would have broke up with Klay. And that this might have been a reaction because he cheated multiple times. So you saying that Megan Thee Stallion looked like the type of girl who could get cheated on multiple times and still stay until she gets to a point. I wish they would have really talked about that, because when Mark said that, I would have said, hold on, you slipped up with your Superman act. What you trying to say about Meg? Also, if y'all don't know, it's rumors about Klay messing with a WNBA player by the name of Lexi Brown. If y'all familiar with the Gilbert Arenas podcast, she used to be a co-host on that show. She did put out a statement and say it's cap, it's not true, but that goes back to the social media aspect when it's like, you put this out here, we're gonna take apart the relationship in the beginning and the end. And it's gonna make the end that more juicy. I think Flip said this in the podcast, when men date a woman with that type of past, sometimes they go into the situation looking at her a certain type of way, looking at her like she might be a hoe. Let's just call it what it is. Maybe it was some of that too. I do agree with the pod that dudes will introduce you to the family. That don't mean that they is loyal to you. That don't mean they love you. That don't mean they want you. We go into this thing that they said in the podcast where they was like, did Megan think he was a nerd? I can see her looking at Klay. He not a rapper. He ain't got all of these big chains. Let's just say it. He got that kind of Barack Obama kind of white kind of swag. I'm not saying it's bad. That might be his personality. He grew up with money. Daddy was an NBA player. But that don't mean he not a dog. That don't mean he not a player. That don't mean he's not inexperienced with the game. That don't mean he can't play the game like everybody else. And I think a lot of women can look at a Klay and they will say, oh, he's gonna be husband material. But in actuality, he just trying to get some coochie like everybody else. But I will say, we would be naive to think that both of them didn't do their Carfax. I think he knew about Meg. He saw the same thing that we saw and was talking about on the internet when they first got together. And I'm sure she looked him up and saw what his past is. I'm sure if you really got to digging, you can see the chicks that Klay Thompson didn't mess with. From what I know, I thought he used to like the white girls. I think he was in a very long relationship with a Caucasian woman for a very long time. A lot of us for years was laughing at Lotto. We felt like just because her and 21 Savage weren't super public that he was mistreating her or that she was the side chick. I think he got some situation where he might be married, but he might be married because he's trying to stay in the USA. I forget that whole story with 21 Savage. So maybe that's another reason why they was keeping it secret. But now everybody kind of knows Lotto and 21 Savage together. But I will say, amongst all the female rappers who are in these relationships, her relationship seems to be a little tighter, a little more healthier, a little more stronger. And I think it's because of the lack of social media. Hey, nigga, donate. Hit the super chat. Scan the PayPal. Hit the Cash App. Thank you. Have a blessed day. She might get on a video and say, I'm cooking for my man, but you didn't know who she was cooking for necessarily. It wasn't like he was in the video and stuff like that. I've seen some things recently where it looks like they're coming out a little more, a tiny bit, but for a very long time, they didn't have social media all in their business. And I think that can be a healthy thing for celebrity relationships. I think a lot of these female rappers need to start wrapping their head around dating regular guys. I know they don't want to, and a regular guy don't have to be a regular broke guy, but maybe you should give the successful regular guy a chance, right? The guy who might be making 6 figures, the low 7 figures, a chance, because I think he's the guy that a lot of these girls are looking for, but they just want the guy with all the money and don't realize, yeah, if I'm in my 30s and I got hundreds of millions of dollars, of course that man told you that he don't want to be monogamous. And the thing about it is, I think for a lot of these successful females, especially in the hip hop culture, everything has to be for the internet. It got to be for the gram. So when Megan pops out with Klay Thompson, it's a thing. Ooh, okay, girl, you got Klay. That's not the same reaction you would get if you dating the no-name guy who don't nobody know how he get money, don't nobody know who he is. Then you feel insecure. You gotta let people know my man ain't broke. You know what I mean? I think that's the mindset of why a lot of these women won't date a decent regular guy, because they so worried about what social media think, and it keeps coming back to social media. I think when some of these people, and not even just celebrities, but regular people, get social media out of their relationship, you'll be a lot better off. A lot of people, they want a relationship to post online, to post on Facebook. They want to go public on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. They want to make the couple videos. If that's what you want to be in a relationship for, you shouldn't be in a relationship, baby. Okay? That's just my opinion. I don't know if I'm qualified to give that advice, but I'm just saying. So y'all tell me what y'all thought about the pod and what they had to say about this. Make sure y'all like the video and subscribe. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.